Yeah. Well, welcome back, everybody, to Tuesday, Bro Tuesday. It's the live call-in show where anybody gets to voice their opinion on the subject of the day. And the subject of the day today is ECC. We're going to be talking about ECC. We're going to be talking about vape shows in general, whether that's domestic here in the United States or whether that's internationally across the pond in places like Germany, in places like the United Kingdom, in places like Jakarta, Indonesia, in places like New Zealand. There's a kind of a big divide happening, I think, with vape shows in the United States versus vape shows like internationally. And I think this last ECC was kind of, it was a real interesting event. Real interesting event. I'm interested to talk to people who have been to a vape event recently or people that actually attended this last ECC in Southern California and Ontario, California this last weekend. I was there. A lot of people were there. I mean, every reviewer that I can think of, I mean, most everybody was there. Tony B was there. I saw Matt Cully there. Daniel, DJ LSB Vapes was there. I was there. Dwayne was there. Kent was there. Eric Vinyl and Vapor was there. A lot of people were there, and we all had like a real fun time. At least I had like a real fun time. And I'm interested to see what other people's experiences were with ECC, because I had a great time, but it's not like it used to be. And I want to preface this whole conversation by saying it's not like it used to be, and I don't think it will ever go back to the way that it used to be. I have a few different ideas, maybe some thoughts, maybe some theories about like what's changing in the United States, like what's changing with vape shows, what's changing at ECC, why is it different in other countries? Is it just regulation? Is it just the misinformation? Are there less vapors in the United States? Are there less vendors in the United States? Are there less manufacturers in the United States? And like Doug Life says in the chat, just obliterate that like button. I'm going to use that every time now, Doug Life. Just, you see that like button underneath the video? It's going to be somewhere over in this area by the logo. I think it's over here. Obliterate it. Smash. Destroy that like button. I would very much appreciate it. Got a super chat right out of the gate here, Joe. Did you see Count Dankula interviewed Alec Jones on his channel? Check it out. Broke the internet. No calls from me. I've never been to ECC. I did not see that, Joe Moba, but it's something that I'll definitely have to check out. Let me go ahead and just throw the number up here on the screen. This is the number we're all going to be calling today to talk about ECC and live vape shows. Live vape shows? I guess every vape show is live. 914-338-1988 if you want to jump in and express your opinion. This is the place where you can do that. Here's what I want to talk about real quick while we're waiting for anybody to call, and sometimes nobody calls. Actually, people always call. People always call every single time. Lucky Man Vapes, no, you're the man. You're the man from Texas. You are the man. I really appreciate that. Dakota Simon says in the chat, if the big vape events would come somewhere like Louisville, Kentucky, or Indianapolis, or Atlanta, there would be a huge turnout. Maybe, Dakota Simon. I have no way of knowing that. It seems like every vape show in the United States, no matter where it is, with the exception of Connecticut, the NVE in Connecticut is like the one, outlier vape show right now that just does really good, gets really packed. But for the most part, other vape shows in the United States it's been less and less attended, less and less attended, less and less vendors, less and less different types of vendors. If anybody went to ECC this year, if someone went to ECC this year, you probably noticed there was like 90% pods, and then the rest was liquid, and then that's it. That's what was at this ECC this year. There was no builders. There was no RDAs, no tanks, no big parallel box mods, really. No mech mods, certainly. I think the only mech mod vendor that was at this ECC was TVL. And they're always at ECCs. They're a Southern California staple. Only TVL was there. And it was very disheartening talking to people who would come up, fans and patrons and things like this. And everyone was asking, well, I'm looking for a great mech. Where can I get a cool mech here? I got this RDA and I want to get a cool mech at ECC. And it was kind of like, I don't know. Maybe TVL? Maybe TVL. Maybe TVL. They make 1,500 mech mods, so chances are you can get one over there. That might be the only booth where you could get any sort of mech mod at ECC. TVL was the only mech company. Only mech company there. It's real interesting. Real bizarre. I got one caller here. Let's talk to whoever is in the 604 area code. You're on Tuesday, Bro Tuesday. Whom I have the pleasure of speaking to right now?
Hi, Nick. It's Niles here from Mission, BC. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, Niles. How are you?
Not too bad, thanks.
Not too bad. Sounds good. Yeah, we're talking about vape shows, vape events today, ECC in particular. Have you been to any vape shows in the United States?
No, I haven't. But ECC, is that Toronto or no?
It is. It's Toronto. It's actually Ontario, California. The first time that they had it in Ontario, California, a lot of people, including myself, were very confused because we didn't know there was an Ontario, California. But there is, and that's okay. Where it is.
All right. Okay. Well, you'll have to forgive me then.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Have you been to any?
Toronto.
Have you been into any vape shows just in general, like a big vape show at all?
There are some there are some that come by in Vancouver, BC, but that would be a major venue that isn't major as far as North America.
Yeah.
But what can I contribute here?
I don't know. What do you think about vape shows?
Yeah, I really can't contribute too much.
Okay. Well, that's the topic of the day. What else do you have to to say today for Tuesday, Bro Tuesday?
Okay. Well, I can actually go back a couple of weeks that I actually fell over and couldn't complete my call to you, and I really wanted to say over the air that I was really quite apologetic to you about that, and it wasn't something that I actually wanted to do. It was just something that with a low blood pressure, and I actually knocked myself out falling through the door.
Whoa!
Something that happened.
Wow. Okay. Well, how are you doing now? Are you okay? You okay now?
Yeah, I am okay. And that was during a show of I believe the cannabis was part of the conversation.
Ah, yes. Yes, that was the very first one.
So I think I tuned in later on and said that cannabis and alcohol is not a good combination.
No. It's generally to be avoided.
Yeah, well, I had a cider going on at that point.
Ah.
And once in a while, I do put in a tincture mixture with my PG and VG.
Okay.
And that works really well as far as toning things down.
Okay.
But in conjunction with an alcohol breezer or a cider or a beer, that's definitely something to really watch yourself and make sure that you're not going to be driving anywhere.
Yes. Well, of course.
Anytime.
Of course.
Well,
yes.
Something. From an educated point of view or a more mature point of view, I'm 50 now.
Okay.
And these things sometimes come into a younger mentality that is okay to do, and it really needs a step back and a pullback where we can actually really tune in to ourselves and just kind of tone it down a little bit and not go too far.
I agree. Let's tone it down. Let's not go too far. Well, I appreciate you calling in, Niles, and you have a good day there, okay?
Okay, Nick, you too. Thanks for the time.
Appreciate that, Niles. Yeah, so we just kind of got derailed right out of the gate there. That's okay. That's no big deal. We're talking about ECC today. We're talking about vape shows. Thank you, Niles, very much for calling in. I'm going to jump to another call here in the 631 area code. If you're there, you're on Tuesday, Bro Tuesday. Who am I talking to right now? Hello.
How's it going, man? This is Justin.
Justin, how you doing, Justin?
I'm doing good.
Good. Well, have you been to ECC? Have you been to any vape
shows? My
shows?
bubble tank.
All right. Have you been to ECC? Have you been to any vape shows?
No. I went to my first vape show this year in March at in Connecticut, the NVE there.
Yeah. What'd you think?
It was like heaven to me. I mean, all those people being able to interact with different vapors, see what everybody's vaping and stuff like that. It's just it was my first show, and I've always wanted to go to one. So, and had to take a ferry over from Long Island to get there, and it was wild. I only got to stay a few hours because the time frame for the ferry or whatever, but it was definitely a great experience. And
yeah,
I also got to go to the one in Long Island.
What did you think about the difference in those? The pretty different shows, yeah?
Oh, it was like night and day. As far as the people there, it was way less crowded, which I thought was actually kind of cool because I got to speak with you and M Turk and Twisted Messes, Coulter and Dwayne.
Yeah, I mean that's always.
It wasn't so busy. Everyone wasn't all over the place.
Yeah.
One thing that kind of I noticed is a lot of these new vendors that have these new juice lines and stuff like that. They're very pushy. They want you to come over and try their juices.
Sure. Well, they're it's salespeople that kind of stand out there. It's either the salespeople or it's the vape models that try to get you in. You're a potential customer. You need to try their liquid. You're getting pitched to. You're getting pitched to by a salesperson. So yeah, they're going to be a little bit. They're going to be a little bit pushy. Did you get sucked in and forced to try liquids you didn't want to?
Yeah, I mean, and I always feel bad. I see these people and the ambition in their eyes and don't want to tell them how you really feel sometimes.
Sure.
Sometimes the juice isn't so good. And you're like, oh, yeah, it's all right. And then as soon as you say you kind of like it, they're like, oh, buy this, buy that.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
yeah.
Come back or whatever.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Well, feel bad.
Here, let me give you my advice for dealing with liquid vendors at a vape show. Is you can either just say no. That's an easy thing to do. I've done that a lot. You just say no, thank you. Just no, thank you, and then just continue walking. No, thank you. But if you get sucked in there and you're tasting liquids and you don't like them and you're not enjoying them, the best thing you can say to get out of that is just say it's not for me. People are like, oh, well, this is like a cereal with strawberry and lemon and fresh milk. And you go, oh, okay, yeah, I could see that. It's just not for me. It's just not for me. And then nobody can argue with that. Then nobody can go, well, I think it's good. And you say, that I know, I'm sure it is. It's just not for me. That's some future vape show advice there for you, Justin.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
It's a polite way of...
It's a polite way. It's just polite and
remedying the situation.
Yeah, a truthful way to kind of let them down. Are you looking to attend any other vape shows this year, or do you think you've had your fill after 2 NVEs?
Oh no, I would go to as many as I possibly could. I love it.
Yeah.
Where I'm at, I really don't have many vapors around me. There's no vape shops really. Any that are around are just like jewels and pods and mostly bellies, and
I
it's
got
not
you.
really.
I
Vaping
got
is kind of dwindled off in my area.
Yeah, as far
It's
as
not like 2016 anymore.
Right. It's not. I don't know that it ever will be like 2016 ever again.
Yeah.
It's just the way that the industry's going, man.
Yeah, I heard there was one coming up in Brooklyn, possibly.
I'm not sure about any Brooklyn vape shows, unless anybody in the chat knows anything about a Brooklyn vape show. I know there's going to be an Atlanta vape show in January. There's going to be an NVE down there, but I don't know if there's anything. I don't know if there's anything in Brooklyn. That very well could be. That very well could be. All right, Justin. Well, hey, I appreciate you calling in, man. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. Talk at you later.
Have a good day.
All right, you too, Justin. Yeah, it was really interesting. We're waiting for some more callers to call in. Just so everybody knows, there's nobody waiting on the phone right now, so you can jump in there. But one of the things that was happening at ECC the last day was they had this roving mob of people. Like the whole event, if you go back and look at the thumbnail, the whole event it felt very, very sparse. Very, very sparse. And then they had this like traveling mob of people that was probably, 40, 50 people that would just travel around the whole arena with the announcer guy, and they would just go from booth to booth doing giveaways, like from booth to booth. Like everyone would be like, all right, everybody, let's meet at the Modi booth for a big Modi giveaway. And everybody would like go over there and stand by the Modi booth. And then the rest of the event is just tumbleweeds and crickets, just nothing, just zero, while everybody goes over and they start chanting and they start yelling and they're like chanting things and throwing stuff and doing giveaways. And then it's like, all right, everybody, let's go over to this booth now. And they'd walk, this whole mob would just walk over to this booth, and then they'd take a bunch of photos and chant a bunch of stuff and yell a bunch of stuff. And then they're giving stuff away. And meanwhile, the rest of ECC is just crickets and tumbleweeds. And then the announcer would go, all right, everybody, well, let's go over to this booth now. And that same thing. And this went on all day. All day. It just, this roving mob of people going from booth to booth with the announcer, waiting for giveaways, yelling, hooting and hollering, chanting whatever vendor is giving stuff away. You just chant their name, take some photos, boom. Here's some free stuff. There you go. That's what the second day, that's what Sunday at ECC was all day. All day. All the vendors were just standing there. Just standing, and then the mob would go around to each booth individually just to get all the free stuff. And then that was ECC. Like that's what ECC felt like to me. Friday was a little bit busy. Saturday was not really super busy, but I had a lot of fun. But they're just people. There's just no public coming to these vape shows. There's just both days. Cloud Queen, both days. Yeah, team free shit. Yes. Team free shit. And that's fine. Like, I have nothing against Team Free Shit. Team Free Shit has kind of always been like a staple of vape shows. Every vape show I've ever been to, stuff. Want stuff? Want stuff? Want juice? Want liquid? Want this? Want that? Want an RDA? We're giving away like 30 RDAs. We gave away a bunch of hats and stuff. We didn't have like the crowd of people move to our booth. But while we were there on Saturday, I think it was, we gave out a bunch of hats and we're showing off the new Grimm kit and stuff like this. We did some giveaways, and so I'm not against Team Free Shit. I want to give away Team Free Shit. I want to. Let's get to another call here. Caller in the 817 area code. Caller in the 817 area code. You're on Tuesday Bro Tuesday. Who am I talking to?
What's going on, Nick? This is Chaz out of Dallas.
What's up, Chaz? How are you, man?
Doing pretty good, man. I had two things I wanted to touch on.
Mm-hmm.
One thing, I didn't make it out this year, but I had a few buddies vending out there. And I saw some pictures of the Grey Goose ripoff brand.
Ah, yes.
Did you happen to see this?
We were going to get to that. Yeah, they were right next to where everybody was getting food. Well, I had to do a double take, honestly, because I looked at it and it just looked like a Grey Goose vendor was there. Like someone from Grey Goose was there. It was not. It was Grey Juice. And it was just IP theft of everything Grey Goose vodka.
Yeah, that's what one of my buddies was vending out there, and he was talking to me about it and joking that at first he was going up thinking he was about to get some shots or something to get going for the day, and realized, no, this is a Grey Juice liquid brand.
Grey Juice liquid brand. We don't see so much of that like really blatant IP theft anymore. It's interesting that this company exists, and it's interesting that they were at ECC, because ECC is always one of those organizations that don't want stuff like that at their event.
Yep.
But I guess when it comes down to it, then
I just think it's crazy that this is still a thing, especially at this time in the industry.
Yeah.
Everything that's going on, and I don't know where these companies are coming from with this.
Yeah, it makes no sense. It hardly seems like a good idea to even start that company and name it Grey Juice. Like, people had to be on board with that. People like invested money in this Grey Juice. Some guy was like, "Oh, you guys, I got a great idea. Instead of Grey Goose, Grey Juice," and everyone went, "Yeah, perfect. That'll make $1 million."
It's crazy.
I didn't get to try the liquid. Did your buddy get to try it at all?
No. Once he realized that they weren't giving out any vodka, I think he walked right past.
Yeah, he was kind of bummed out. A little bit of false advertising there, yeah. Grey Juice.
Yeah, if anything, it was a letdown.
Yeah, if anything, it was a bit of a letdown. Have you been to any vape shows yourself, Chad?
Yeah, so I've been in the industry for about 5 years now at the brick-and-mortar store out here in Dallas. So, yeah, we used to do a little bit of wholesale back in the day as well, so I've been to ECC a couple times, and then mostly shows out here in Houston. Most of them were out in Houston. But it's been a while, especially out here. It seems like everywhere they've died down a little bit. So that was the other thing I was wondering on your end. What was your experience like at ECC this year? What were you seeing the most of? I know at least in my store, mods are not moving. Pod systems are everywhere.
Yeah.
Was that something you saw at the convention as well?
Yeah, 100%. 100% pod systems everywhere. No, there were some mods kind of around and here, like Aspire had a few things, and there were a few things here and there as far as like mods, maybe some sub-ohm tanks. Didn't see any RTAs. Certainly barely saw any RDAs. The only one I actually saw was the Passage RDA because we were at the Hell Vape booth, so Hell Vape had the Passage there, but I didn't really see any other RDAs. It was all, it was the majority of it was pods, was pod systems, was pod-based systems, kind of everywhere. Pods and Saltnik, everywhere. 100%.
Definitely so. How was the attendance at that?
Look, the attendance was less than I've ever seen an ECC attended in the past. I feel like every single year that I've gone to ECC, and look, I've gone to all the ECCs except the very first one in 2013. I was at all of them in 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18, like over the years, and each one gets slightly less attended. Just slightly less attended is how it feels to me.
Of course, yeah. In my opinion, I don't think that vaping obviously is not going away or people are stopping. I just feel that there's much less of a community behind it. Even just in our store, like we do our anniversary parties, all that. And, it used to be such a community. Everyone would come together and just visit, talk about what they got, and have a good time. And even just at a small scale thing like that locally, and our customer base is still there; it's still growing. But the attendance at even things like that, there's just not much community. Everyone just kind of, it seems like the pod systems and the Saltnik really had changed things and both a positive way in bringing in, new consumers, new people that were smokers over, but also lost a lot of the community that was kind of, to me, very important in this industry and, in vaping.
Yeah, I agree with you. And, it's hard to pinpoint like what exactly is going on. You can kind of see it from an outside point of view where it's like we have these hobbyist vapors that are fiddling and trying to really dial in their vape to get the best vape. And that's a very like bonding thing. If someone else has an RDA and you're kind of like, well, what coils are you running in there? How does that taste so good? Why does mine taste weird? And it's kind of like this community thing around gear and helping and things like that. And now that things like pod systems exist, it's just become so convenient that you don't need to fiddle. You don't need to go on the internet and spend, watch 5 videos to figure out how to set up your caliburn. You can just fill up the pod and do it and go, okay, now I can vape. I don't have to watch all these reviews. I don't have to do this. I don't have, people just dip their toes in vaping now. Like they find something they like real quick and then they're kind of out of it. They're not like, I'm going to go back to a vape meet and talk about my caliburn or my fix pod system or anything like that. That's just, maybe it's a little bit of the technology. Maybe it's just people's, mindsets in general. When we were smokers, we didn't really have like smoker meetups or anything like that. The vape meet, it's a unique thing to the hobbyist side of the vape industry. I feel.
For sure. Sure.
Yeah. Well, hey, Chad, I appreciate you calling in. Chad. You have a great day, okay?
Yep. You too, Nick. Thank you
very much. Yeah. Yeah, this is something that I was talking about recently. I can't remember who I was talking to, but like vape meets. Like vape meets used to be a thing before vape shows were a thing. Before there was any ECC or Vape Bash or Vape Showcase or whatever shows are out there now. Before there was any of that, we had vape meets. I would drive down to Northern California to meet up with the Northern California Vapors Club. And we would literally just like go to a bar, rent out like the back room, bring some gear, hang out, drink beers, vape, show off our gear, do builds, and have fun. And it was like a vape meet. And we had vape meets all over California and vape meets all over Nevada. Like even up in Northern California, we would used to hold vape meets up there all the time. And vape meets were a thing because there were so little vapors like in the world that you'd have to drive to meet another vapor. When I started vaping, there was no vapors in Reno, Nevada. There was no vapors in Carson City, Nevada. And if I wanted to meet vapors, if I wanted to hang out with them, if I wanted to anything, I had to drive. We had to drive or sit on the internet in a live stream show kind of like this, but we had to drive. And that was the thing that we wanted to do was vape shows, like vape meets. And they were like, sometimes 10 people, sometimes 20 people. It didn't really matter. And, what was the very first one in the United States? I think it was the New York Vapors Club. It was either the New York Vapors Club or the Long Island Vapors Club. But they started meeting like every single month. It was like monthly meetups. And these monthly meetups would just grow a little bit every time and grow and grow and grow. And soon you had all these vapors meeting every month. And it was like a fun thing. And now we don't have vape meets anymore. We have these live streaming shows that I guess are, substituting for vape meets. We have vape shows now that are these huge shows with these huge, vendors and very little like, consumer sort of foot traffic in there. It's kind of weird. A shout out to Wayne from DIY or Die for just being in the chat today. I really appreciate that. I like seeing you here, Wayne. Jennifer said, GrimmGreen, plus it was nice talking to someone else that was learning. We were on the growing curve back then. Now there is very little to learn, and now we just fight for our rights. Yes, that is definitely something I think that's going on. We have less steep learning curves now. Once upon a time in vaping, and I hate to sound like Grandpa Grimm, but there was a time in vaping where basically just everything was confusing. Nothing was straightforward. Nothing made sense. We had weird batteries, underpowered batteries, weird tanks, weird clearomizers, weird burnt wicks and silica and things, and everything required a little bit of like fiddling or question asking. You know, it was like helping each other. And we used to have that. And we used to rely on that. And now we don't really have that anymore. You can just go on, on YouTube and see Rip Trippers go, here's how you set this up. And he'll set it up and he'll show you. And you go, all right, I'm good. I'm vaping now and I'm set up. And maybe I don't need a vape forum. Maybe I don't need to be a group, a vape group on Facebook. Maybe I don't need to go to this vape meet. Maybe I don't need to go to this vape show. It's a thing. Nella the Fella, your opinions and on all the stories of people being hospitalized for vaping. As a longtime vapor, I would love to hear your input. Yes, we're getting a little bit off track right here, Nella the Fella, but I'll go ahead and put it out there. People aren't being hospitalized for vaping nicotine. People are not being hospitalized for things that they've purchased in vape shops. People are not being hospitalized for things they have purchased in legal dispensaries. What people are being hospitalized for are clone pods, essentially black market, illicit, unregulated pods that can be filled by anybody with anything. That's what people are being hospitalized for. It's not because they picked up a Caliburn and have 12 milligram on the inside. No one that vapes a 12 milligram Caliburn is going to end up in the hospital from lung injuries or anything like that. It's just not going to happen. Millions of vapors worldwide. It's just not going to happen. Just not going to happen. Let me get to... Damn, Nick, looking hot today. Shirtless Tuesday, anyone? You want me to take my shirt off, Dwayne? I'll take my shirt off, Dwayne. In the meantime, let's talk to this caller here at the top of the list in the 978 area code. Caller in the 978 area code. You're on Tuesday, Bro Tuesday. Who am I talking to?
Hey, Nick, it's Chris.
What's up, Chris? You want to turn down your computer there?
Brother?
Let's turn down that computer there a little bit. I'm doing well, Chris. How do you feel about vape shows? You been to a vape show before?
Yes, actually, you and I met at NVE in Connecticut.
I
don't know if you remember. You actually did a little excerpt for one of my vlogs, and you said that cake was way better than pie.
Oh, did I? Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, I'm a cake person in general. I like cake more than I like pie. So was that like your big first event, that Connecticut NVE show?
That was my first convention ever, actually, and I had an absolute blast. I was actually kicking myself for not going to one before that.
Okay, and it was a big show. Were you just blown away?
It was a big show. It was very intimidating when I first walked in.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't sure exactly what to expect, but then I saw the size of the venue and how many people were there,
mm-hmm.
and it really took me by surprise. I had a great time, though. Met a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
That was really the reason that I went, was to go and really connect with the community,
mm-hmm.
and meet a lot of people. Like, you're one of the first reviewers that I ever watched, and
cool.
I've been watching you for about 3.5 years now. So thank you for everything you do, by the way.
Yeah, hey, it's my pleasure.
But yeah, sorry about that.
I said, oh no, it's my pleasure.
Yeah, I went to really just connect with the community,
uh-huh.
and I met you and Homeboy. I met all of the Stooge crew that were there.
Yeah,
they're solid people. Ruby, M-Turk. It was the event of my life. I absolutely loved it. Had a blast. I was really hurting when it all had to end. I was having so much fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was it was a real...
Like the other guy caller earlier said, there was a lot of juice and pushy people.
Yeah. Juice and pushy people. Were you forced to try a lot of juices you didn't want to? Sorry, liquids? I don't care. Juices that you wanted to try? Didn't want to try?
Yeah, there were some that I didn't want to try, and it wasn't really good. I mean, as if the people trying to really push you into it aggressively
mm-hmm.
wasn't a big enough turnoff. The juice itself was just not all that great in most places.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I don't exactly remember at NVE in Connecticut. Were there a lot of pod booths there? A lot of pod manufacturers at NVE in Connecticut?
There were, There was a lot of mouth-to-lung stuff. I saw a lot of mouth-to-lung little, like, pen devices.
Mm-hmm.
But there was an overload of, like, pod systems. But it was, like, a lot of companies that I'd never heard of before, like Foger Tech. I don't know if you've ever heard of them.
Nope, still haven't.
They had a couple of pod pen systems there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of, like, unknown company stuff, and I wasn't really impressed with it.
Yeah.
We got some, me and my wife, who was there with me, we had a couple of the pod systems handed to us, but, we get them back, and I've had better experiences with mouth-to-lung pens like that before.
Oh, yeah. They're not all great. That's the problem, is they're just a dime a dozen, and they all kind of work a little bit similarly, but there's just some that just don't add up. Let me ask you this. When you were there, did you go to the Modders Gallery at all in NVE?
Yes, I did, actually. I was there for when everybody was getting their picture taken with the Daldimes.
Ah, yes. And that's one of the things.
I was down there for that. Yep.
Yeah, the Modders Gallery is one of those things that some other vape shows like ECC just don't do, and the Modders Gallery is where a lot of the products that we enjoy kind of get featured. Like, that's where you're going to find mods and squonkers and mechs and RDAs and, like, a little bit nicer, maybe a little bit more high-end, but much more hobbyist. Like, you're never going to see a Caliburn pod in the Modders Gallery.
Right.
And so that's...
Yeah, no, I wish that more conventions would have a Modders Gallery. I also found that the Modders Gallery was a big collection point for a lot of the community. It was where a lot of us spent a lot of our time and really interacted with each other. So
yes,
I think it'd be beneficial, really, for other shows to start putting in Modders Galleries if they don't already have one.
I'm a huge proponent of this. I think that vape shows should have a Modders Gallery. You know, I'm interested. I don't know if you watched the Jay Hayes, but I know he was talking about doing his own vape show at some point. What do you think about that? Would you go to the Jay Hayes vape show?
If I could afford to get there, I absolutely would.
Me too.
I would go to any vape show that I can get to again, just for the same experience or a similar experience, to be able to connect with the community even more.
Yeah.
I have nothing against Jay Hayes. I enjoy watching his videos.
Yeah.
I would go if I could afford it. If I had a way to get there, absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, shit, Chris, thank you so much for calling in, man. Thank you for your thoughts.
I have one question for you.
What do you got for me?
The Vupu Nano.
Uh-huh.
How do you feel about that as a pod system?
It's fine. It's fine. It's like a lot of pod systems in that it's fine and it vapes fine. One thing that I do like about the Vupu Drag Nano is it feels like a tiny little mod, and I think that's fun. It vapes fine, but I think it aesthetically looks cooler than it vapes, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Well, yep, I'm not going to hang too much of your time up here, buddy. Thank you for talking with me.
Yeah, definitely, Chris. Appreciate that. Maybe I'll see you at NVE in the future.
Absolutely.
We'll make it happen.
Have a good one, Nick.
All right, brother. You too. Yeah, Modders Gallery. Angela Garrity, I could not agree with you more. Thank you for being here, by the way. A Modders Gallery and plenty of places to sit down is what every vape show needs. You know, once upon a time, we used to have... I'm going to get to this caller who's been waiting for about 20 minutes very shortly. 734 area code. Get ready. But... once upon a time, vape shows, like one of the first vape shows that ever existed, were things like Vape Fest and Vape Bash. And the way that those worked was a lot different than the big sort of... I don't like to use the term commercial, but it's like these big commercial vape shows, like NVE, where you have, Geek Vape there and Vupu there with their big booth, and you have iJoy there with their big booth. Once upon a time, at these old vape shows, it was just vendors in a big line around the exterior of the room, like along the walls were just vendors. It was very much like a swap meet. All you really needed was a table and a sign and whatever you were selling. And they were lined up all along the edge of a really big room, and then throughout the center of the room was literally just tables and chairs. Anybody, if you're done walking around or you're waiting for a build or something, you can go to the middle and there's tables and chairs, and you can like sit, chill, hang out with your little clique, with your little squad or whatever, and just hang out in the event. You don't have to be actively walking or actively purchasing anything or actively vaping any liquids. You could just chill. And I think the combination of the Modders Gallery, which brings a lot more of this hobbyist aspect to vape shows, and having somewhere to just sit down, I think would go a really, really long way. I think it would make people a little bit more excited about vape shows, and I think it would make the people that do go to the vape shows just have an overall more enjoyable experience. I'm 100% on board with you, Wayne. I would 10,000% go to a Jay Hayes vape show. Let me look at this super chat up here. Adam Scott Howard, that's very gracious of you. Thoughts on the regulatenotban.com website for San Francisco? Yep, billboards are going up left and right. I think Juul is the main backer for Prop C. I'm not sure. Here's the thing. I like regulatedontban.com. I think that's a pretty brilliant little piece of marketing there, and it's very, very necessary. It's absolutely what we need to be doing is regulating, not banning. Regulating, not banning. Mark from the chat, Vape Bash was good, and I loved it. That's what shows should go back to. You know, I've done my own shows. I've thrown multiple bi-coastal vape events. The one that I was really, really very much in charge of was VaporCon West in Reno, Nevada. We did it 2 years in a row, and it was more trying to be a little bit of that old school vape meet, vape show, not pods doing business to business deals. Like I didn't invite like pod system companies just so they could do business to business. And it's like, oh, this pod system, they made $1 million while they were here just in distro deals. Great for them. My vape shows were about the consumer 800%. All I wanted was dope vendors with dope stuff and a bunch of consumers to come in and get to view, buy, talk to the people that make all this dope stuff. And that's what I wanted VaporCon West to be like. Unfortunately, we overstayed our welcome at the Peppermill Casino in Reno, Nevada, and that's okay. But while it lasted, it was real fun. And it was the polar opposite of ECC, of Showcase, of any other of these big shows. It's the complete opposite. I loved it. It was smaller. It was a little bit more DIY. That's where I thrive. That's what I want to do. I want to do shows like that. I want to do fun shows for hobbyist vapors and not just how many pod system manufacturers can we get into one room. That's a little bit what ECC felt like. It's a little bit what ECC felt like. All right, 734 area code. You've been waiting 26 minutes now. You're on Tuesday, Bro Tuesday. Who am I talking to? You're driving.
Hi, Nick. This is Norm. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm a trucker.
All good, Norm. What's going on?
Oh, not a whole lot. So I've never been to a vape show, but there are reasons why I haven't been to a vape show, and
okay,
I could at least tell you why I've chose not to.
I would like to hear that.
Back in 2014 is the first time I quit smoking, and I used vaping to quit. And I got really into it, really into watching the YouTube channels. I was doing rebuildables, and on Facebook I seen, I'm in Southeast Michigan is where I live. In Ann Arbor there's some vape shows, and I asked some of the people running the vape shows over social media if any of the YouTubers were going to be there, and nobody that I was subscribed to at that time was going to be attending the vape show. And for me to go to a vape show, I kind of want to go there to see the different YouTubers that I subscribe to, because all the hardware, all the gear, that I can order it online.
Yeah.
Just I didn't see a point in going to an event where I got to pay to get in, so I can buy things that I can buy without paying extra money.
Right. So you would go to a vape show if all the reviewers that you wanted to meet were kind of going to be there.
Right.
That's an important part.
At the moment, that's what would draw me into a vape show. So, I really don't have too much interest in traveling way out of my way to go to a vape show.
Sure.
Like flying out to California or, but that's been a big thing that's held me back from going. Also, the pods kind of got me hooked ever since the Caliburns come out now.
Yeah.
I'm big into the pods, and a lot of the bigger vape gear, like my Aegis Legend, for example, that thing, it quits working all the time, and, every once in a while it starts working again, and it's fine, and it's great, but those items cost a good chunk of money to buy them and replace them all the time, whereas a pod that breaks down, it's not a big deal to go replace the pod.
Yeah, it's cheap. That's you make an excellent point. Where are you based out of, Norm?
I live over by Ypsilanti, Michigan.
Okay.
Right by Eastern Michigan University. Not far from Ann Arbor.
Okay. As far as I know, there's only been two Michigan events. I think they did an VPX in Detroit 2 years in a row, or an ECC in Detroit 2 years in a row, but I'm not sure if you went to those. I'm assuming you didn't.
No, I quit vaping for a while and went back to the cigarette.
Okay.
And then I've come back to vaping within the last year.
Cool. Very cool. Well, if there's a big vape event in Michigan, if there's a vape event in Michigan, if there was a vape event maybe closer to you, like that you could just drive half hour, an hour to, is that something that you think you'd pack up in the car and could just go see just for fun?
It really depends on if the different YouTubers are going to be there. So
yeah.
I pay attention to where you guys are going. I follow you on Instagram. I've seen you and Dwayne have talked about doing a vape tour.
Yeah.
And possibly stopping in Michigan like that. That's something I would go to. But to go just to go look at hardware and vape models, it really doesn't appeal to me.
Yeah, I definitely get that. I definitely understand that, Norm. Well, hey, thank you so much for calling in. I don't want to take your time. Get your eyes on the road, Norm.
Okay, thank you, Grim.
Appreciate that. Yeah, interesting. Just people have whatever various reasons for wanting or not wanting to go to any vape shows. I saw something in the chat that I tried to keep track of, but I couldn't find it. GrimmGreen, what are you vaping on right now? Mershock. This is the IPV V3 auto squonker guy. It's just I just keep using it. It's just one of those things. Every time I see it on my desk, I'm like, nope, I'd like to use that. So that's what I'm vaping through. That's what I'm vaping through today. And a lot of people, it's like you want to go to a vape show. You want to see things from the internet. When I went to Connecticut, I wanted to meet Jay Hayes. Like, that's a thing, and that's important. And if that's why you want to go, then that's why you want to go. I'll try my best, Norm, to get up to Michigan for the vape tour. I think that would be really fun. One of the points, one of the reasons behind doing the vape tour originally was I wanted to show some love to some brick and mortar shops because I think they need all the support and all the love that they can possibly get. And I wanted to bring that like small vape meet feel to a bunch of different places. We did it on the West Coast. It went great. I mean, it was everything I wanted it to be. It was so fun. We went to a lot of great shops, met a lot of great people, had these fun little vape meets like every night of the week. It's just real fun. And that's what that was one of the points that I tried to set out to do with the vape tour, was bring that back. And so I agree with you, Angela. Let's bring it back. Let's bring back some old school vape shows. Let's have a small vape show. Let's have a vape show that's literally like just a modders gallery. And, you know, and this is something else that I think about frequently. What is this, James? Please check your Facebook messages. I sent you a picture of your love. It's not dirty. It's graffiti. Oh, okay. I'll check that. I will check that out, James. I apologize. I'll get to that. I'm not good with Facebook anything. I don't really go on Facebook or interact with Facebook if I don't have to, and I rarely, if ever, check my Facebook messages. But I'll try to get over there and do that. But yeah, it's just real interesting the way that the vape shows have changed over the years. And one of the things that they do in other countries, and what I've been to in Sweden, is Matthias and Beyond Vape Sweden, they did a vape show in Ulricehamn, Sweden, that was literally just one day long. There was a few vendors there. I want to say, 15 different vendors there, maybe. They had like a store set up. It was a vape event, and then there was a bar, and then there were bands playing, and then you could get tattooed, and then they had vapors and the build and blow competition that was really, really fun. That's where I see hobbyist vaping going, and mainstream vaping is literally just going to be pods and over to ECC and more for you. And I see hobbyist vapors sort of, maybe let's do our own thing. Right? Let's not do ECC. Let's not do big box pod systems. Let's have our own show. Let's have our own little bit, maybe more DIY, kind of punk rock, getting back to our roots show where we have some vape vendors. We got some bands playing. You can come get tattooed. We're going to have a bar. We're going to have food. I think that would be, personally, something that I would be way more into, 8,000% more into than going to a really sterile big box vape show where, you know, there's these big companies there, and you see these big companies there selling their pods and selling their liquids, and then you see these same companies out behind the convention center just tearing through cigarettes like crazy. So you kind of go, why do I want to give my money to this company they're not even in it? Like, they're not even in it. They're not even down for the cause. That's something that upsets me too. And a barbecue. I am not vaping a pod. Is this a pod? An auto squonker into an RDA? Is that a pod? I feel like that's not a pod, but it could be a pod. I would never call the IPV auto squonker a pod. I would call the Caliburn a pod. I would call the Fix a pod. I would call the Gala a pod. I would call the Kilo 1K a pod, but I would not call the IPV V3, variable wattage auto squonker a pod. This isn't a pod. I just want to clear that. I don't think this is a pod. And even if it is, fuck it, who cares? I'm vaping on a pod. You know why? Pods are convenient. Pods are convenient. And maybe that's what's happening in the vape industry. Let's talk to all right, shit, we got like a half hour left. There's a caller that's been sitting here for about a half hour in the 270 area code. If that's you, get ready. Welcome to Tuesday Bro Tuesday.
Hey.
Who am I talking to?
Hey, this is Chad from Indiana. I was actually hanging out with you, Dwayne and Kent, all day Friday at ECC.
Oh, party. So what was your big takeaway, Chad, from ECC? How did you feel about it?
I enjoyed the show, obviously. I enjoyed meeting and building rapport with a lot of the vendors out there. I was a little turned off on the disposable pod systems. I'm not necessarily a fan of the disposable pod systems.
Yeah.
And I was actually going to talk about the gray juice vendor also.
Yeah.
I was a little turned off by that. And also, I am totally against the watch pod systems. I think that those are just setting the industry up for disaster with teen vaping.
Interesting. I reviewed that watch pod system. I actually kind of liked it.
I know.
I actually kind of liked it. See,
I don't. I wouldn't mind it if it was used for the right purpose.
If it was used for the right purpose, what's the right purpose?
Well, not being given to high school students, it's easier for them to conceal and hide that device. Now everybody knows about the jewels and so on and so forth. It's a lot easier for them to hide it.
Okay. So what else did you think about ECC? A lot of liquid, a lot of pods. Attendance?
Attendance was less than I expected. It was my first West Coast Vapor Expo. Most of the stuff I do is in the Midwest, some in the South. I was expecting to be, a lot larger in attendance, but it wasn't horrible. I had a good time. I thought it was set up pretty well, organized decently.
Mm-hmm. Have you been to any other ECC events in the past, or was this your first ECC?
That was my first ECC.
Very first ECC. Well, interesting. Very interesting. Yeah. And, I agree with you on a lot of things. We may not see eye to eye on the watch pod system, but most everything else we agree with. I wasn't really too excited about that gray juice liquid. Did you get to try it?
Yeah, I did not try it. I wasn't interested in it. It wouldn't be something that I would bring into my own store. So,
right.
I just wasn't interested in trying it out.
Not even like out of just sheer curiosity?
No.
I wanted to. I just couldn't get back there in time.
Just didn't appeal to me. And I wasn't really looking, when I was there, I wasn't really looking for juices, being that I'm in Indiana, and a lot of these juice companies are not Indiana compliant. There's several now, more than a couple years ago, but I was really looking for hardware and to build rapport with manufacturers.
Yeah. Well, did you get to accomplish at least some of that this year at ECC?
Absolutely, I did.
All right. Well, right on. Right on, Chad. I thank you for hanging out on Friday. We had good times. I'm glad you had a good ECC. Thank you for calling in, brother.
No problem. Have a good one. I'm sure I'll talk to you soon.
You will. Interesting, Chad. Yeah, a lot of people, I don't want to slam Chad now that we're off the phone. I don't think that watch. There's not a youth in the world that would be caught dead wearing that dorky watch. It's just not a reality. There's just no way. When you're a youth, when you're in like 7th grade through 12th grade, that's the numbers I'm going to call it. 7th grade through 12th grade, the only thing you care about is being cool. If something's not cool, you don't do it. I didn't do uncool stuff. You want to be cool. There's like a social hierarchy that is very, very important. And who's going to wear that dorky watch? I don't think any kid, any youth ever would be caught dead wearing that dorky watch. You know what it is good for? Real convenient for an adult that likes to wear a watch that doesn't want to have things in their pockets like I do. I would rather have... Kids will not wear that, Jennifer. They would not wear that crap. That same reason that they wouldn't wear like a snapback hat with like a radio built in. It's like, that's just not cool. They're not going to wear it. I think we have nothing to worry about. The UL amulet's been out for months already. They're not being confiscated in schools. They're not, we're not running into the youth. There's no big BuzzFeed article about, this vape, did you know that it was a watch and it looks like a watch and now your kids are using a watch to kind of vape when you don't know, but it's a watch? None of that. I don't think is that going to bite me in the ass? Well, we'll see. Well, time will tell on that one, but I don't think any... Here's the thing. Vaping's not... We were trying to start this thing on Twitter, old farts vaping. Old farts vaping. That's what we want to associate vaping with. Old farts. And I'm an old fart vaping. And I vape a dorky watch, and that's by me being an old fart vaping and vaping a dorky watch. That alone, I think, will keep youths away from it. That alone would probably keep youths. When they say youth, what really age group do they mean? Who knows? I heard a 25-year-old referred to as a youth in the media recently, so figure that out. People are accusing Juul of marketing to youths and using the example of 25-year-old influencers, and I kind of went, what? That's clearly not a youth. That is definitely clearly not a youth. Yeah, it's why kids don't cloud chase. Yeah, we might not agree on the watch thing there, Chad, but I enjoyed hanging out with you. I'm glad you had a good ECC, and that's a lot of what ECC is. It's business to business stuff. It's shop owners coming in to talk to manufacturers. It's shop owners coming in to talk to distros. It's distros coming in to talk to manufacturers. Like, that's the majority of what goes on, and then everything else with like consumers or panels or anything like that is secondary. Is secondary. They did make an iPhone. This is, James, you want to go way back in the day. There was a vape case that was for the iPhone 5, I believe. At least I had the iPhone 5. And it was like a hard, snappy case that went on the back of your phone. And it just had a 510 connection on top and a battery pack and a button. And you attached a tank to the top of your phone so that you could use your phone and talk on your phone and then, boosh, vape it. Everybody thought it was stupid. Nobody said, well, that's going to attract youths. It was, everybody just was, that's dumb. that was the overwhelming consensus. That is dumb. Nobody was going to vape it. Nobody was vape it. There were Facebook posts about the watch from school districts. Okay, Chad, well, I might be wrong about that. Send me over some of those links. I want to read this. I want to see who's freaking out about the UL amulet. They say colors. I know, Jeffrey. They say colors attract kids. Colors? Just using a color is now appealing to youths? No, we have to draw the line somewhere in the sand and say that just because something is blue doesn't mean it's for only youths that like the color blue. That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. All right, we're getting off track here. I want to talk to this caller. You've been waiting a long time. Caller in the 214 area code. Get ready. You're on Tuesday, Bro Tuesday. Who am I talking to?
What's up, Nick? It's Lee Williams.
What's going on, Lee? Vape shows. You been to them?
Say it again. I'm sorry.
Vape shows. Have you been to them? Have you been to ECC?
Oh, vape shows. Well, I haven't been to ECC. I've been to the Dallas Vape Showcase that was right after the August 8th.
In 2016.
A couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
How was that vape show after August 8th, 2016?
It was weird. A lot of people were in that, like, oh, what are we going to do? How's it going to go? Where's the vape industry headed? Are we dead? Are we going to die? You had the fear going on. And then some people were like, screw it, bro. Let's blow fat, dope clouds and vape up while we can.
Yeah. Interesting. Was it a heavily attended show even after August 8th? Like public wise?
It was pretty good. It had got moved from Houston. The hurricane had hit Houston and they moved it to Dallas. Kind of in the like, oh crap, let's move it to Dallas because it was already booked.
Yeah. Interesting.
So, but it was a good show. I mean, I met a lot of people. I agree with the other caller was saying about the a lot of the liquid vendors. Push. Hey man, this is the best liquid you've ever had. Like, no.
Yeah.
No.
Well, liquid vendors.
Very liquidy.
Liquid vendors like to talk about their liquids like they're the most unique things on earth. You sit down with a liquid vendor at a vape show, and you're like, "Well, what's this flavor?" And they're like, "Well, it's a cereal, but it's not like other cereals." And you kind of go, "Oh,
right,
okay." Are you sure it's not like other cereals? Because I have a feeling it is.
Not like other custards.
Exactly. But it's not like other custards. And you kind of, as soon as you taste it in your head, you go, yeah, it's the same. It's real the same as a lot of other custards.
You're using the same exact flavorings as everybody else is, just maybe a slight less or slight more percentage.
Yeah, we have a finite amount of flavors to work with as an industry. Finite.
Right. What I would like to do, I'm not the real Gerard Butler.
Not the real Gerard
Butler. I've talked
Butler.
to you a few times.
Yeah, I know you.
Through, Yeah. So what I would like to do is, like, I want to do how you were talking about old school meetup.
Old school meetup.
And I want to do one here in Dallas, because we have a lot of vapors, and we used to have DFW vapors and Dallas vapors and Fort Worth vapors, and we'd all do these old, hey, let's go to this bar, let's go to this place, and just talk about vaping. And I'm a nerd about vaping, so
yeah.
You know, I always love watching all you guys with all the new products. I want to know what's out there, because when somebody says, well, hey, I want to get into vaping, what do you think I should get?
Yep.
You know, and I want to know, like, oh, if I see, 4 or 5 reviewers say, hey, this is a pretty good product, I'm going to recommend it. Like, hey, 4 or 5 guys have said, this is a solid product. Like the Caliburn, I recommended a guy today, get a Caliburn. Everybody's talking about it. He's looking for a pod. He had a Juul, and he's looking to move away from Juul because he wants a variety of flavors. So, man, Caliburn, everybody says it's good. Yeah. I haven't tried one myself, but,
that's 4
out of 5 can't be wrong.
Yeah, that's knowledge. That's knowledge that you get that you can pay forward, that you can pass on to other people. That's fantastic. Not the real Gerard Butler.
Right.
Fantastic.
Yeah. How's your pool float?
Fantastic. I love all the pool floats. I love my pool floats like crazy, man. Like crazy, man. All right, bro.
Good, man.
Oh, well, thank you so much for calling in, man.
Too long. Have a good one.
You too, brother. I'll see you on Wednesday. Yo to ya. Yeah, that was not the real Gerard Butler there. Yeah, good stuff. I don't know. I keep I keep coming back to this old school vape show idea. I just love it so much. It makes me excited. Like, I instantly start thinking, I want to plan this. And then I think about other vape events that I have planned. And then I think, I don't want to plan this at all. At all. I just don't want to. But, damn, I think it would be a really good idea. I think it would be really fun. I think it would be really spectacular. I already know Angela Garrity's on board, and that's all I need. I just need Angela Garrity, not the real Gerard Butler. We're good to go. Let's try to crank through some more calls here in the last half hour. Caller in the 908 area code. Get ready. Welcome to Tuesday, Bro Tuesday. Who am I talking to?
It's for British Eyes only.
Oh, what's up, British Eyes? What are you doing?
Not much, man. I'm sitting here looking at all the fun pictures from ECC and being all sad and stuff that I didn't go.
Did you have some FOMO from not going to ECC?
I did. I had. So I didn't even have it just from watching any of the videos or pictures. I had Vaping with Thesis call me and be like, "Bro, where are you?" I'm like, "In New Jersey." He's like, "What? I thought you were staying with us at the house." I'm like, "No. I told you a lot. I'm sorry, but I can't make it. I wish I could go." He's like, "Dude, I thought you were coming. I had a spot for you. I was so excited to hang out." I'm like, "Don't make me feel worse than I already do."
Yeah. Well, did you watch the videos or anything from ECC?
It looked like it was. What's up?
How did ECC look from the outside point of view, from someone not at the event?
It's kind of always tough to tell, because even pictures from the Long Island NVE, it looked like it was crazy, but it was pretty poorly attended, like it could have been way better. But I mean, I had a blast. I know my girlfriend was like, "I want to sit down. This is so weird and empty. I just want to leave."
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of a thing with expos, is you kind of need to have something for everyone. It's not that it's only geared towards like hardcore enthusiasts, but the people who are going there are typically ones who are, excited about new stuff coming out and want to meet reviewers and want to see and try new products. And it's not necessarily people who smoke cigarettes and want to quit. And they're like, the best way for me to quit is to spend $20 and go to a vape expo for a weekend.
Yeah. Yes. That's the most difficult way to do it. And there was a lot of people.
I think
I met some people and some patrons and fans like this on Saturday, and then they came back on Sunday to kind of just say goodbye. Like, they came back Sunday morning and they're like, "Well, we've already seen everything, so we just wanted to say goodbye because we're gonna leave." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Like, have fun. Like, you only did it. You did one day, and you already saw everything you wanted to." And then that's all the incentive there is for someone to stay like 1 day at a 3-day event.
Yeah, exactly. I know in the Connecticut one at Mohegan Sun, you couldn't see everything in the 1 day. You had to be there both days if you really wanted to like experience everything that there was. And it was crazy. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
And I kind of felt sort of the same way. I didn't want to leave on Sunday, but you know, I was there both days. My girlfriend had to leave to go to work for the next day, so she couldn't stay, and was like, you know, it's just have fun, do your own thing. I'm like, all right, well, perfect.
There we go.
That's fine for me. I'm just gonna be weird and hang out with like people I know from the internet, I guess.
That's fine. And you went to Connecticut and Long Island, right? Did you go to both? You went to Connecticut and Long Island? Yeah. And Long Island was down in that basement?
Yeah, it was in the basement, which I was not aware existed.
Yeah. It's just
very interesting.
Real interesting. Real bizarre. Real bizarre. Every vape show I've been to since 2016 has just been real weird. Just real bizarre. Kind of like that. Kind of like weird locations, low attendance, odd vendors, with the exception of Connecticut. Like Connecticut, NVE Connecticut is like the one like outlier show that is just packed.
I think it's because it's in a freaking casino.
It could be. It could be that it was in a casino. It could be. I mean, I have no answers. That's what I'm trying to get to the bottom of. Like, why does NVE Connecticut do so well and every other vape show in the United States does so poorly, including other NVE events?
I don't know. And I feel like Long Island isn't that crazy of a place to get to. I mean, for me in New Jersey, it's like a couple hours.
It's right there. For me in California, it's kind of a haul.
Yeah.
It's kind of a haul.
I mean, so is Connecticut.
Yeah, so is Connecticut. So, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I don't know what's happening to the vape shows in the United States. I don't know if it's just disinterest.
Angela Garrity brought up like a pretty good point. Like, we just need chairs, man. We need more chairs to put butts.
Yeah, we need chairs.
That I think, like promising, like, hey, we're going to Geek Vape is going to come out with a brand new product available only at NVE, and then will be re-released within a month. But you got to go here to get it.
Yeah,
if you want it first.
Yeah, new things like that, exclusive things, interactive things.
Gallery,
Modders Gallery.
Yeah,
Modders Gallery. I would be so bummed if I was a new vapor and I'm like, I'm going to go to ECC, because all these we've been talking about ECC for years, and I'm going to go to ECC. And if I had gone to this ECC and like that was my first show and I was a brand new vapor, I would have been like, why are there so many pods? Can I get an RTA anywhere? Can I get anything else anywhere? No? Okay. I feel like
you can get pods or you can get salt mix.
Yeah, and I feel like the industry needs to fragment again, and we need to have mainstream vaping go be its own thing. Like, go be mainstream vaping. Meanwhile, we're going to hold it down on the hobbyist side and have way more fun over here. I think that's what needs to happen.
Yeah.
I think that's what needs to happen.
I don't know. I've gone to, I'm in a Volkswagen Audi club. I've gone to a ton of different car shows, and it's kind of the same thing. There are small events that hardcore enthusiasts go to where, like, hey, so-and-so just brought his old caddy pickup, and he just put an R32 in it, and he tubbed it, and it's 2 inches off the ground, and everyone wants to go just to see it. And it's like a small, tight-knit community, and you have way more fun than you would going to, like, Ocean City, Maryland, and getting arrested for your car being too low, and there's 800 people there, but it kind of sucks anyway. Like, the police are everywhere, and give me, like, 50 people I know from the area, or people, like, we drive 10, 12 cars out to Michigan or, like, up to Vermont for shows, and people are like, yo, you guys came all the way from Jersey just for this? And we're like, yeah. What's up? What are you guys doing tonight? Can we all hang out and be best friends? And it's kind of like that same mentality where, like, on Sunday I was there and was like, I don't want to go home yet because I don't want to leave because a lot of people that I want to meet are still here, and also I don't want to sit in traffic. So I started talking to Nick Bissett, from Daily Vape TV. And he's like, yeah, man, come over. Come hang at the hotel. It's me and Vapor Swaggins and Poon Sauce. And let's just chill, dude.
Yeah.
And ended up, like, hanging out with them for the whole night.
So
and
fun.
Cuddling with Nick Bissett.
Yeah, that's
very cuddly.
That's one thing you should do.
It was like, I was talking to him on, he does, like, a live vlog every so often, and was like, yeah, dude, you kind of, like, made NVE, like, way more fun for me, because I could have just been like, well, I guess I'm going to leave now and went home, but I'm super glad I stayed, because, you know, I got to, like, meet a bunch of other people that I wouldn't have, and all the TVL guys were, like, in the parking lot trying to get in trouble, like, I swear, on purpose. But,
yeah, that's what they do. You know, that's TVL. Bunch of hooligans.
That's what they do. They come with a little trailer, and God knows what the hell's in there.
Bunch of hooligans over there.
But, yeah.
Yeah. Good, you know, and that's one of the big...
Coming down to some people were even complaining about, the tickets were $25. Like, I mean, that's not really ridiculous, but I guess it is kind of enough to deter some people from going.
Yeah.
If they don't know that when you go there, you're going to get, like, rock bottom prices. You're going to basically get wholesale prices on items.
Yeah, a lot of stuff at shows is always real discounted.
A lot of people not knowing that are like, well, yeah, why don't I just buy it online? I'm not going to spend this money to go to an expo. Like, well, you should, because I left with so much free stuff I don't know what to do with it.
Yeah,
but you know,
and
sure.
this was just
order it online, I guess.
This was an issue in the past as well for with vape shows. Is when a big vape show, you know, in 2015 and 2016, when there was one every single month in every single city across the United States. These big vape shows would come in. Everybody would attend them. Everybody that attended would get, you know, months worth of free liquid. And then for the next months after this vape show left town, all the vape shops are just sitting there dead because nobody's coming into the shops because everybody already got their free liquid from the event. And it was affecting the sales and livelihood of local vape shop owners.
Yeah, which is something I kind of never even thought of.
Yeah, that's a
really
thing.
Good point.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Like outside of the venue in Long Island, there's kind of nothing there. Like, it's like a strip highway, and then like there's a Starbucks, and there was a shop that I went to that Big Lou East Coast Reviews was like, like go 2 miles down the street, and there's a shop there, and a guy had an employee there that convinced him he had to buy every AV mod that ever existed because that's what people were going to be vaping for the future forever.
Yeah.
So
turns out they weren't.
I went there and talked to the guy for a while and ended up leaving with like a DNA 40 Vapor Shark and what else did I get? I got a mini Volt, like a brand new mini Volt at another shop like that where I'm just, hey, do you have any old weird stuff that no one wants? Because I want it.
Sold.
But there's not like a lot of people like that. You know, a lot of people are like, I want the newest thing. I don't care if it's cheap Chinese plastic. It's brand new. And I heard it does 252 watts with 2 batteries.
It's always the newest stuff.
Okay. Or you could just, you know, find yourself like an old Sigelli 100 and be blown away at how much better it is.
Yeah, exactly. All right, British Eyes. Well, hey, man, thanks for calling in. Appreciate that. I'll see you in Connecticut.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
All right. Take care, bro.
Oh, you will.
Yeah, right. See you later.
Adios.
Peace out. All right, I definitely want to get to these. There's a few super chats that kind of snuck by there. Thanks so much for British Eyes Only. Thank you so much for calling in there. I'm going to try to get to one more call, but I want to get to these super chats that I think I've been missing. Rhett Falls, rad meeting you at ECC. Hope the koozie is serving you well, sir. Love the Turk V2 I got at the show. I have a Recoil Rebel coming in today. Don't forget about Yin Yang, bro. Yes, I tried some of the best liquid I've ever tried in my life at ECC, courtesy of Mr. Rhett Falls. It was one was called Yin and one was called Yang. I don't remember which one I liked the most, but they were. I think it was Yin. I think it was the Yin. Was it the Yang? I think it was Yang. Anyway, Rhett, appreciate that. Kaylee Stewart, I'll be in Iowa, Florida, and Virginia in the next 2 months with conventions. Yeah, are there really shows in Florida and Virginia and Iowa within the next 2 months? Because I have no idea. I didn't know about any of those. But good luck to you there, Kaylee. Adam Scott Howard, yes. Regulate, don't ban. I love that. Chronic Master Vapor. You gross. Blotto, Dual Barrel, V3, Trill Liquid, End Gaming. Hashtag End Gaming. I love that. Spencer, very gracious of you. Been watching you since I switched to vaping. September makes 5 years. Smoke free. I appreciate you a ton. Thanks, Nick. Thank you, Spencer. I say the same thing to everybody. I have the easy job in this. You have the difficult part. You're the one that has to actually take that step and become smoke-free thanks to less harmful vapor products. I had a chat in the chat that I wanted to read. There we go. Steven chimed in and said, I'm okay with a separation so long as the underlying thing that unifies us is fighting for our rights to vape and getting smokers off the smokes. Yes, 100%. I don't think that's something that could ever possibly go away. That's the reason why any of us do any of this, is to not smoke cigarettes and to help smokers get off of cigarettes. That is, I think, the one thing that will always be unifying, is whether you're using a pod or whether you're using an RTA or whether you're doing a stacked series mech dreamer combo, you're getting attacked. Vaping in general is getting attacked no matter what you're using. So it's all up to all of us to just power through, fight for our rights, and keep converting smokers. Ifer, how do I call in? Well, Ifer, we usually have a number up here on the screen, but I went ahead and turned it off because I got so many people waiting. I got one last call I'm going to be able to take right now. I apologize to everybody waiting right now, but I'm going to take this call from the 203 area code. Whoever's on the 203 area code, you've been waiting damn near an hour. Welcome to Tuesday, Bro Tuesday. You're the last call of the week. Who am I talking to?
Hey, Nick, another Chris from Connecticut.
Another Chris. This is like the third Chris of the show, man. What's going on up there in Connecticut? I'm doing good. What vape shows? Have you been to vape shows? You ever been to an ECC?
I've never been to ECC, but I've been to the past two NVEs. I actually met you this past NVE, which was awesome.
Yeah, in Long Island, that was.
No, this one was in Connecticut.
Oh, okay, Connecticut.
The one at Mohegan.
Yeah, Mohegan Sun. So that was a huge vape event. Yeah, was that one of your first vape events, or have you been to one before?
That was the second. I went to the one last year as well.
Interesting.
And from what you're saying, I guess I'm spoiled because it seems like the Connecticut shows are the best ones to go to.
The Connecticut shows so far, I'll say this with complete confidence, the Connecticut NVE is the biggest, most widely attended vape show I've seen in the last 3 years. Maybe in the last
crazy.
3 years.
I wouldn't expect that from our crappy state.
I was honestly, I mean, you went, you had fun. Did you go the whole 2-day event? You went for both days?
I did. I did.
It was real packed. You had a great time, I'm sure. Yeah,
man, I had a blast, and that I was surprised how packed it was because the previous year was good at Foxwoods, but it was kind of split between those two floors. Some people didn't even know the other floor was there.
Oh, interesting.
But with all the vape controversy and all that stuff going on in the media and how we're being attacked, I wasn't sure how it was going to be, but it was awesome.
Yeah, it has. It was awesome. I being a person that had only attended like sparse vape events, getting to something like NVE Connecticut felt like it did back in 2015, 2014. It just felt huge and just packed, and everybody, and vape events just don't feel like that outside of Connecticut NVE. Have you been to one that's not Connecticut NVE?
No.
I already asked you that. Yeah. Well, it's kind of a different world out there.
I guess I'm lucky.
You are lucky. Now, can I count you in for NVE Connecticut, the next one, next year?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I will be there.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
I think that's what everybody who's attended NVE Connecticut says is, yes, absolutely, I'll be there. If you ask that same question to maybe someone who went to ECC this year, you might not get a very similar response. You might get a I don't know, something like that. Maybe, I guess. But NVE Connecticut, ask anybody. Yes, I'll be there next year. Well,
how about you? You going to be there next year?
Here's the thing. Yeah. I am dying to go back next year. I would love to go back to NVE Connecticut. Sweet. The Mohegan Sun was great. The vape show itself was great. So many people there, so many it was packed with consumers, and it was unbelievable. It was like nothing I had seen in a real long time. And I hope that we can kind of keep that momentum going. You know?
Yeah, I hope so too. That's awesome. Like I said, I'm blessed. I'm spoiled.
Yeah, you're a little bit spoiled up there.
Yeah,
Chris.
I saw you guys. I saw you guys talking about how the Modders Gallery and the community of vaping, and like I said, I guess I'm spoiled that it's such a good show. But even there, I thought that what do you think about if they were to kind of section off the vape events? Sorry, that's my dog barking.
Oh, that's fun. That's what dogs do. That's
into
fine.
Like into like kind of a juice section over here, a rebuildable section over here, like RDAs and RTAs, and I know they have the Modders Gallery for mods, but what do you think about kind of sectioning off? Because I was trying to find.
Yeah, that could definitely be a thing. It might be. I don't know. It could definitely be a thing. It might just be awkward. The problem is you could have a whole room full of just liquid vendors that could be mostly empty, and then you could have a room that's just hardware and be mostly full. And so I think mixing them together is kind of the way to go. The problem is, you hear on the internet, people are saying, oh, we're at ECC and we're booth number 216. Come swing by booth 216. Who knows where booth 216 is? Nobody. That's who. Exactly. Nobody knows where booth 216 is. Are you kidding me? They need to make them easier to navigate, some sort of map, some sort of here's where certain vendors are, here's where certain booths are. They've tried to do it in the past. ECC used to have an app where you could have the map on your phone, but it was terrible, and it was like this PDF that was just bad. I think that they just need to be organized better. I think they just need to be organized better to begin with. That's what I think.
Yeah,
That's
I
where
agree.
I land. That's where I land. All right, Chris. Well, thank you so much for calling in, man. You're lucky up there in Connecticut. You got a great show. I hope to see you there next year.
Absolutely, Nick. Thanks for taking my call.
Definitely, Chris. Take care.
All right.
Well, that was Chris. I apologize to anybody waiting still on the phone lines right now. Definitely not going to get to you. We're going to try to wrap up this here Tuesday, Bro Tuesday. So I don't know what's going on in the vape scene in the United States right now. Here's kind of where I'm landing on it. I think that consumers drive everything. Consumers always drive everything. And if we're seeing more pod systems than we are RTAs, all that means is that more people are buying pod systems than are buying RTAs. That's just the way that the industry is going. And I don't think we should fight back against that. What I think we should do is let vapors be vapors. And if you want to vape pods, then you vape pods and you go to ECC and you can have your selection of the world of pods. But I also think there is this sort of even somehow more underground group of hobbyist vapors, where we like to build. I like to throw some aliens inside of my Blotto RTA. I like to build. I like to squonk. I like to do some house cloud chasing. And I think if we want to see more stuff for hobbyist vapors, no one's going to do it for us. We got to do it for ourselves. We have to grow this ourselves. We have to grow our own little niche underground industry ourselves because no one's going to do it for us. Vandy Vape isn't going to cater specifically to hobbyist vapors and support like a hobbyist vape show. It's up to us to kind of, I think it's kind of us to do that. If we want more people in the hobbyist side of it, we kind of have to cultivate that community. We need to get people into it. We need to cultivate it ourselves. We need to cultivate it and nurture it and grow it ourselves. Grow this thing from nothing. That's what I feel. Normies don't go to cons. Hobbyists do. Well, I mean, that could very well be a thing. Hobbyists, do only hobbyists go to cons, or do normies, as you say, Rob, go to cons? I had one other super chat here from Nicholas. Kaylee Stewart is actually pronounced Kelly Stewart. Wow. Sorry, Kelly. Hey, Kelly. Kelly, sorry. Sorry I've been calling you Kaylee for like a few months now. I apologize. But yeah, grassroots is the best way to go, Angela Garrity. I almost called you Angelarity. I kind of like that a little bit better. Dakota, I completely agree with you. There's enough room in this industry for everyone. No matter how you want to vape, there is a place for you. There is enough room for everybody in this industry. Me personally, I would love to organize it. I would honestly just love to see it happen. Something a little bit more niche, underground, off the record, not like an ECC, not like a vape showcase, not like an NVE, something different. I want a different type of show. I want a different type of vape show. I just don't know what that looks like yet, but I feel like it's something that needs to happen. I feel like people are getting really disenchanted with a lot of vape shows that are happening in the United States right now. Disenchanted with vaping in general in the United States right now. And like I said, if we want to keep it alive, we have to do a few things. We got to fight for our right to have access to a far less harmful vapor product. And if we want to continue having this fun, underground, niche, hobbyist side of the industry, we have to promote it. We have to cultivate it. We have to nurture it into becoming a bigger thing and getting people on board. Yeah, #vape, make vape shows great again. I'm going to leave us with that little quote from my main man, Jeremy V. I appreciate you, brother. Anyway, I think that's where we're going to wrap up this here. Tuesday, Bro Tuesday. We're going to do this every Tuesday, 2 p.m. This is the show where everybody gets to voice their opinion. Even if you go off topic from what we're talking about, I try to reel it in, but everybody gets to voice their opinion. Everybody gets to voice their opinion. So I'm going to say, what is this, P-Rone? You and Jay Hayes should get together and create one. Look, bro, I'm in. I'll text Jay Hayes. We'll get the ball rolling. I just want to do something dope. Because I get so disenchanted by the vape shows in the United States. I feel like a complete stranger there. I don't know what, it just feels like a completely different world to me, and I want our fun hobbyist world back. Anyway, yes, that has been Tuesday, Bro Tuesday. Thank you so much for joining in to the discussion and to the conversation. One last time, I'm just going to say it. Smash the like button. Just thumbs this video up. If you're here right now, just do it. Even if you're having a crappy time, still hit that thumbs up, guys. Really, really, really very much appreciate it. And yeah, that's all we got for today. So yeah, I don't really have a sign off for here, so that's what I'm going to say. I'll see you guys on Thursday. Yo. I'll see you on my patrons on Wednesday. But until that time, just let's keep on vaping and be excellent to each other.